Hey, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today I have the opportunity to work on a Shimano. It's the Tekota 600. It's a 4-ball bearing reel. This one was sent in by Peter. This one's got a problem. It doesn't turn. No matter what you do, it seems to be locked up. And we're going to get to the bottom of this. We'll see why this reel is failing. We'll see if we can put it back together again and restore it, give it a second chance. We did notice that, well, it can spool out and it locks up, but so it's not in the spool side, but we won't know until we go a little bit further. And that's the subject of this video: how to take this reel apart, how to diagnose the problem, hopefully resolve the problem and get it fishing again. So if you like these kinds of videos, I would ask you to subscribe to my channel. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please hit that notification button. That'll tell you when I'm posting videos, and you'll get a chance to see whether that's a video that you want to watch or not. Today we're working on a saltwater conventional reel. Tomorrow may be a freshwater bait caster, and somewhere in between may be a spinning reel. So I would encourage you to subscribe, and if you do subscribe, please hit the notification button. Well, I start by taking off the exterior pieces, starting by the handle side. You'll notice I do wear a protective glove on my hand, and off camera I have a parts tray. It's nothing more than the bottom of a fast food container in this case. Sometimes it's a milk jug or something else, but this handle is not as loose. We just take it off by hand. Now this reel is an interesting reel in that it has what I call a rocket spring in it. So if you're working on this reel, please be advised there comes a point where there's going to be a little spring in here under this star adjuster, and if you're not careful, well, it's going to shoot. Well, I can see that we got a good amount of either salt or grease on here. I'm not quite sure which one it is. And I see that I also dropped the washer off. So note to everybody, yes, I do drop pieces and parts from time to time, and most of the time I'm able to recover them. Well, that's the little shim washer that goes between the star adjuster and the handle. This appears to be salt, not grease. Alright, we're going to start by taking this backwards. And as I mentioned, there's a little spring in here. So this is a good place to tell you to be careful when you're taking this off. You don't want to lose that spring. And we should see it in just a moment. And it looks like somebody lost that spring during one of the last maintenance. Whoop, here it is, right here. Somebody was me. That's your little spring that you're looking at there, right there. And I call it a rocket ship because there's a spring mounted inside the hole cavity here that pushes down to make a click. And well, if you're not careful, it will shoot out. There's a special way to reinstall that, and we'll show you that on the back end. All right, note, you should take pictures along the way as you do the work on taking the reel apart so that you know how it goes back together. Some of you watching may be watching this because, well, you didn't take pictures. There's a flat washer, then there's two larger washers that are tension washers. That's the sequence they go on when you go to reinstall. There's also another, looks like two washers, a washer and a bearing shield here. So let's get those off as well. One of the things that's good about working on fishing reels is that it can be relaxing, it can be frustrating, but please take your time and have patience when you go to work on these. If you're in a rush, you're only asking for trouble, and trouble you will find. Alright, there's actually 3 washers here. They're very small shim washers, almost paper thin. There's 3 of these. You'll notice them. And those are going to go into my basket next. Those are put on by the manufacturer. And now we have a paper thin, that one's the bearing retainer here. And I'm kind of curious why this reel is failing, but I am seeing an awful lot of salt, corrosion, and buildup here. Something I'm sure is stuck. Alright, there's 4 case screws that you want to take out first. These are Phillips head screws. And when I take these out, I like to lay these on my desk to make sure that they're all the same size. Shimano is one of the manufacturers that has a habit of putting a small screw in one place or another, and or a longer screw. And when they do that, you need to know where that screw is coming from, so that when you go to reinstall, it's reinstalled in the right place. Well, we mentioned it's not in the spool side, because we saw when we went into free spool that the spool was behaving properly. It wasn't locked up. So my next guess is going to be there's something on the gear shaft that's locked. It's even possible that the anti-reverse bearing or the collar is frozen. And among other things, that bearing shaft here should be proud, so that you can have drag pressure, and that thing is sunk in, so there can't be any drags going on here. All right, those 4 screws check out, and I'll just put them in one corner of my parts tray just so I keep them together. Now we have 2 more screws that have to be removed in order to remove the side plate. Those go over our shafts that are holding the yoke and spring assembly. And this may get down to why the problem is occurring with this reel. Again, these 2 should be the same. These have a narrower stem, but still keep them apart from the 4 side plate screws, just so you don't confuse them going in. That'd be easier to put the narrow stem into the larger hole, and more difficult the other way around. But just be aware of that. Well, with any luck, I was going to say it should pop up, and this should tell us what's going on here. Well, there you have it. So this bridge piece is frozen to the anti-reverse. Well, that doesn't happen very frequently, but it certainly happened here. And what we're going to do, and I hate doing this with an anti-reverse, but it seems like there's no option there. I'm just going to soak it with a penetrating oil. Hopefully we can free that up. Now, when you put penetrating oil on, it's not a miracle worker. It's not going to happen immediately. Come back to that over time. You saw the one spring came off. It belongs on this post here, in case you're wondering how the assembly goes. And you can see that the other problem with this reel is that it's all dried out. But we did notice that the jack is working, and it does do the free spool release, so we have a good situation there. First thing I like to do when I'm working on these is get these springs into my parts tray right away. They have a habit of shooting, and if they shoot, well, we've got a problem, right? So now we can see it's turning, right? The whole assembly is turning. So the problem is definitely with the frozen gear sleeve in the anti-reverse. Well, we're going to take this off and service this side. We'll come back and we'll see if we can make that other part work. We're going to have to see if we need drag washers in here. We can tune up the rest of the reel. We may have to order parts, but again, we'll come back to that in a little bit. First thing I want to do then is take the gear stack and drags off. Sometimes it's as simple as just pulling it off like these. And we'll take a look inside. And these drag washers kind of, well, they're okay. All right, they're fine. They're out of sequence. It looks like they're out of sequence. This is a little bit confusing to me, why I have the 2 that are set up for the spacer. Usually one is just round. But the drag washers are okay. But we're missing one. That's probably why you have no drag. Oh, there it is. So we do. We have all of them. Okay. So these appear to be leather. We'll give those a little cleaning, and we'll put those back together. I'm just going to put them off to the side for a moment. I'm going to leave them on my table. And actually, why not just do that right now? That would probably be a good thing to do. I'm going to get this last one out of here. Oh, and this one's brittle. This one's broken. So we're going to need to replace the drag washers. And we'll have to order that part, and I'm thinking we're going to need to order this because this is a part of it. And while we're doing our ordering, we want to make sure that, well, that this thing can work or not work. That's been sitting a little bit. Let's take a pliers here now and try and grab both sides of it. See if we can get it to turn. Well, it's not moving very much, so we're just going to let that sit again. And over time, that thing should loosen up. I'm just going to spray it down again. And we've kind of concluded that we found out why this reel has failed. Now it's a matter of getting the replacement parts to put it back together again. We're going to order drag washers. We're going to order the sleeve, and hopefully we can order this this anti-reverse clutch. Not sure if that's available. I'm hopeful that it's available. And then we'll take the rest of this reel apart. This can come off for the yoke. We can unscrew the anti-reverse dog. And we're doing this to show you the rest of the way to service this reel and to get it back fishing again. So there's a little collar that was holding that anti-reverse dog in place. I'm going to put that over into the assembly. Now we should be able to lift up on the jack, and we should be able to remove the anti-reverse dog and the wheel. And there may be a C-clip on the bottom of this, but I don't think there's a bearing. I'm going to go back and check the schematic because I have to order the other piece as well. And notice there's a little washer here that belongs on the anti-reverse post. So when you take that anti-reverse dog off, know that it belongs on the bottom side of the post. Okay, that's about as much as we can do with this reel. I want to take the far side of that reel off. So I want to come to the back side of this reel then, because there's bearings in the spool, and we're going to want to check those as well. Again, if you're ordering parts, and hopefully these parts are available, but if you're ordering parts, you might as well do it all at once. Don't go say, oh, I need the sleeve, and I need the AR clutch, and I need the one washer. Well, make sure that you go to the schematic, make sure that you know all of the pieces that are needed there. And at the same time, make sure that you order all of them, because in a lot of cases, the darn shipping and handling expense is as much as the pieces and parts. So no sense saying you did all the one and then you need $1.25 part and it's going to cost you $10 worth of shipping. Take the side plate off. I'm going to test the bearing here just to make sure it's running okay. It seems to be spinning fine. Well, probably just needs oil. I'm just using a little pick to kind of move it along there. Yep, that's fine with a little bit of oil. Take a look at our other side here. There's a bearing on the spool I want to make sure is running, and that's running fine. So we're okay on this side. Here's a C-clip that's holding the post in. So we're going to pull that out just to check behind the post to see if there's a bearing there as well. Some of these reels have them, some don't. That's a hard one to get to. So if you have any questions on this reel or any reel in particular, maybe you're working on one and you're stuck, if you leave that question in the comments section, I'll be happy to try and answer that for you. Just let me know the reel, the make, the model, and I'll try and get back to you on that. You're going to see the E-clip here now, right in here. That's holding the post in. There's also a little washer. and then we'll find out. We're going to pull this out, find out if there's a bearing in there. Well, there's no bearing in there, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that we put some grease back on the post when we're done. Okay, so what have we done? We've taken the reel apart. We know what the problem is. The problem is lying in the anti-reverse and a frozen collar that is seized to that. We've been trying to work that with some penetrating oil, and we're just going to continue to try and work that for now. We know that we need drag washers because they're brittle. We know that this back bearing was a little tight, but it seems to have freed up. Yeah, it's freed up fine with that oiling, so we don't need to replace that. We're going to go online. We're going to order the drag washers. We're going to try and order the anti-reverse clutch and a new collar for the reel, and that should restore this reel to operation. So we're going to stop the video here. I wanted to show you why this reel failed, and when we get those pieces and parts, we'll put it back together again, make sure that Peter can take that fishing. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's a little look into why reels fail. And if you like it, please like the video. Again, please subscribe if you like these kinds of videos, if you want to see more. And to everybody who's a first responder or essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you do. And to all, please stay safe, stay well, and stay watching. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.